Hello everyone. This is the 8th part of the story, Percy Jackson, the God of Magic. Chapter 36. Chiron Point of View. Things had certainly changed since a certain demigod got to this camp. The prank ratio increased to a 1000%, but he was a master on his craft, and we never had any proof to ground him. But, taking out the bad part, he was a nice kid. Helping others out, giving the demigods on the camp a semblance of what is to have a normal life. And yes, I know he makes money of that, but everyone here seems happier than before. His cabin was a shopping mall for demigods, one that I myself had used more than once. What can I say? He sells the best horseshoes in the market. The camp is quieter without the brat, Lord Dionysus commented with a frown, but I really knew what he was trying to say. I miss the brat and his pastries, the ones he gets from Hestia herself to sell. He will be back, Lord Dionysus. I smiled. He has to, you are his best client. Lord Dionysus snorted. I still can't understand how he convinced Hestia to work with him, but... Yeah. You are right, he has to, he owes me 3 cakes, and if I have to go to the underworld to get them I will, he laughed. We both know that kid is hard to kill. I allowed myself to laugh. He is a crafty one, a bit reckless, but he was probably the strongest demigod of this generation. That he is, Lord Dionysus agreed. Can you hear that? I focused on the sounds around us, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. That was until a song caught my ears. I couldn't quite describe what the song was saying or if it was a song to begin with, but... it was getting closer. It's coming this way. That brat. Lord Dionysus snorted. I will hand it to him, he has a lot of creativity, he smiled, not like the brain-dead fish we got recently. Before I could reply, the song that my ears had faintly caught stopped, for now the lyrics were clear. With that a car broke into the camp with Percy, Annabeth and Adam inside. Adam. Oh, for the love of God, kill me. Annabeth begged. I welcome the abyss, Percy muttered. Oh come on, the song isn't that bad, Adam said, jumping out of the car. Besides, the Atom Mobile needed a song. 5 hours, we listened to the same, God fucking verse for 5 hours. Annabeth growled. Mr. D. Is the offer to liquefy my molecules still up? Percy muttered, looking at Lord Dionysus with pleading eyes. Lord Dionysus looked at Percy and then at Adam and smiled. You did good, brat, you did good. A pleasure to be of assistance, Adam bowed. I don't think I get paid enough for this, so I will go to the training camps. And so I galloped out of that weird situation, ignoring Annabeth and Percy calling for me. I was conflicted, but I knew they had to face this battle alone. Adam Point of View. I think by this point psychologically trolling Annabeth was a hobby, one that I was stupidly good at. The Atom Mobile was just the first phase of my trolling master plan. The real part was my theme song, which I put on a loop for hours. But Adam, isn't that going to hurt you too? Well, if I was an idiot, it would. But alas, I was not this time at least. You see, I muted my ears to avoid hearing the song altogether. Genius, isn't it? And with my ears protected, I let Annabeth and Percy suffer the worst thing you can do to the human mind, putting a catchy song on a loop. It will take them months to control their humming of my song. Ha! 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 Moo ha ha ha. I laughed, for victory was mine again. Mooah. Ha! 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 I stopped my evil laugh when I heard someone else had joined in on my evil laugh, and that someone was Hestia, who had flames around her to accentuate her laugh. Sorry, it just seemed fun, she apologized, seeing I had stopped. Do you know why I'm laughing? I couldn't help but wonder if she would laugh if she knew the answer. You pranked Percy and Annabeth, practically inserting a song they will never be able to get out of their heads, right? Hestia smiled. Huh. I did not expect you to be okay with that, I admitted. I knew you were a prankster before I even talked to you, Hestia snorted. I have nothing against it, is all in good fun. No one is dying, so thumbs up. I see, I chuckled. May we restart our evil laugh? I don't see why not, Hestia nodded. Mua. Ha, 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 ha. And so we laughed, flames burning around us with the passion of our pranking hearts. Annabeth point of view. Da 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 da. God fucking damn it. I will find a way to have my revenge. I can't keep on losing, I muttered, da 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 da, no. I can't stop humming the song. I think he broke us, Percy muttered, all I think about is the song, da da da, every freaking second. We will have our revenge, Percy, I promised, even if it was the last thing I did, da da. We can't beat him. He is unstoppable when it comes to pranks, da da da, Percy sighed. Then we will find a way, da da, no one was unstoppable, da da da. I have but one question. Lee, who had come to sit with us, said, why are you saying da 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 every other sentence? I hate Adam, Percy and I said in one voice, da da. Chapter 37. Day by day, Percy and Annabeth tried and ultimately failed to enact their revenge. It was funny really for them mere mortals to hope to match my might in the pranking arts. As a result of their hubris, I had cursed Annabeth and Percy to watch a documentary on how to make a documentary about how to make a documentary about documentaries. Needless to say, they stopped after that. 10 hours of uselessness made quite an impact on them, stopping their useless but entertaining pranking assaults. You made them watch that? Hestia commented, while taking my copy of the documentary on how to make a documentary about how to make a documentary about documentaries. I feel the need to burn this, and I don't know why. It's probably a weapon strong enough to kill a god, I nodded gravely. I see, Hestia nodded, carefully putting the CD back to where it came from. So now, what's your plan? My plan is to mess with Ares and his need to tap my booty, I informed her. He wants to what? Hestia asked in mild shock. He wants to, and I quote, toss my ass like a salad, I shuddered. If you want I can talk with him, Hestia offered. No, I will simply use his plan to fuck his original idea, I laughed, you see. I realized Zeus has yet to reward me for my deed even though he said he was going to give me a weapon, so I decided I will cash that reward out, and as my reward I will get some booty insurance against all gods. That is remarkably smart, Hestia smiled, so, you want a lift to his office? She offered and I nodded. Zeus point of view. I didn't expect Adam to pop into existence in the throne room unannounced and uninvited. But considering he was with Hestia, I allowed myself to see what he wanted before killing him if it was a waste of my time. And I had to admit, I did not see his request coming, not even by a long shot, for his deed recovering my master bolt. He didn't request immortality like most demigods would, or even a weapon like I had originally offered, no. Instead he asked for booty insurance. He was very specific with his request, oddly specific. And for some reason Ares was mad at that. I will grant you your request. No god shall pursue you unless you personally give them the green lights. I was unsure how to feel with this request. Had any gods offered to sleep with him, or was he simply preemptively avoiding that? Thank you, Adam bowed and Hestia giggled. Are you sure that's what you want? Hera, my wife asked, with a frown on her face. I do, Adam nodded with a smile. I find that request a bit presumptuous. Why would a god pursue you, unless? Hera said, narrowing her eyes at me, and then at him. Wait, you think he? No, 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 no.
No.
Adam said with clear disgust, placating her wrath a bit. No. Like a big no. I told you, honey. I narrowed my eyes at him, wondering why he was so disgusted by the prospect of me courting him. Adam point of view. I thank you for you gift, my king. I bowed and left with Hestia back to the camp, where Ares was angrily waiting for us. You bitch. Ares screamed and I smiled. You cheated. So did you, I pointed out. You still made a promise. When you are 16, you will be ours or face the consequences of breaking a holy promise, Ares smirked. I don't think so, I smirked at his obvious lack of memory. I promised to do so when I grew up, and that, my dear friend, leaves a lot of gray areas. It could be tomorrow, it could be in a million years, who knows? Ares blinked, opening his mouth to answer, but failing to do so.
Yeah.
You have been played by a teenager. Ares laughed. Well played, this just makes the hunt more interesting, but for now, well played kid, well played. Ares, to quote a famous old song, you are never gonna get it, never never, gonna get it, I chuckled. We'll see, Ares chuckled as he teleported back to Olympus. I find this both highly disturbing and entertaining. I have never seen a mortal play with the gods so much, without invoking their wrath. Is like you know how to push their buttons, Hestia commented. I suppose, I smiled. Now, what do we do now that my booty has FBI protection? FBI? Hestia asked. Federal booty insurance, I explained. Annabeth point of view. Beating Adam was impossible, he was a master of his craft like Percy said. He would not only counter our every attempt to prank, but he would return said attempt, 10-folds back. At first, he started small, by making us look like killer clowns, Pennywise 1 and 2, then he stepped up on that, and made sure his song was everyone around us, But, his last prank was utterly diabolical he made us watch a documentary, about documentaries about how to make a documentary about documentaries. It was so stupid, so time-consuming. I almost considered burning the camp. But I was not done yet. I still had faith we would find a weakness in his being. I think we can. No. Percy interrupted, I had enough. Annabeth, we must know when to quit, can you see? He made us watch a documentary that was the definition of useless. And the worst part was that he said it was on his top 20 most boring DVDs. I don't want to know what the first one on his list has. I struggled to reply, for he had brought a very good point of fine. I relented, Brain was right, Adam had won, for now. I thank the gods you reconsidered, Percy cried. I fear seeing that documentary flashing before my eyes when my time comes, I know what you feel, I nodded. Chapter 38. The unexpected is, as the word itself says, something you don't, expect, and let's face it, no matter how smart you are, you can't really prepare to face the unexpected, because there are so many things that can happen, making it impossible to account for each possible scenario. So, you can imagine my surprise when a fucking ray of pure light hit me, as I was doing some shopping for summer sale in my shop/cabin. And before you ask, yes, it was a literal beam of light. It's not a metaphor, I didn't even have the time to process what was going on. I simply felt the beam hit and thought, well, this is it. This is my end, Imagine my surprise, when I didn't feel any pain or something along those lines. In fact, what I felt was strange to say something, it was as if something was magically moving me from where I was, to a new place. Maybe a new adventure awaited for me? Welcome to my realm, a sweet charming voice said, a voice I recognized. Aphrodite. So, is this your way to ask me out? I asked, wondering what kind of trick would she use to get me to fuck with her and Ares this time. No, this is me taking the offer you gave me last time. Aphrodite winked at me. You told me to call you, and here I am. Ares failed, so I will take what I want. She licked her lips, ready to bet a goddess. I eyed the goddess, and asked, so just you and me? Yes, Aphrodite smiled in a terrifying yet seductive way, all while levitating me to her, moving her finger in suggestive way. I will have you, for a month straight, no breaks, nothing but sex, so don't die on me. So this is how I die? Fucking to my death, not bad, a pretty honorable death. I will go out like a champ. Dori me, interimo I pair. Dorim amino, amino latire, latirimo, Dori me, I welcomed my destiny, death by SNU. No. A scream broke into the room, with an arrow hitting Aphrodite on the shoulder, as flames formed around me, like a shield. You dare! Artemis screamed, holding her bow high, you dare to try and fornicate with my little brother. She was livid. Maybe it was best if I didn't tell her I was okay with my destiny. I will not let you take my champion, Hestia stated. I find this behavior less than pleasing, Aphrodite. He didn't seem to mind. Aphrodite pointed to Adam Jr., who was more than happy under my pants. I will not dignify that with an answer. I feigned taking insult to that. We all know your tricks. No man, god or not, can resist your smell, so don't patronize us, Artemis growled. If I see you initiating contact with my little brother again, taking advantage of his male weakness, you will face my wrath. I am shaking with fear. Aphrodite rolled her eyes. As my champion, he is within my domain, so unless he actively looks for you, you better stop, Aphrodite, Hestia said with a smile, which some way seemed to terrify Aphrodite more than the threats Artemis was throwing at her. Fine, Aphrodite sighed, I will wait for you, Adam. She added with a wink. Despicable whore, Artemis growled under her breath. I was so close to go out like a champ, a true hero among heroes. Alas, Artemis and Hestia saved me from that destiny. After that I was teleported back to my cabin, where I found 3 letters. Dear little bro. I am so sorry Artemis and Hestia stopped your fun. I am proud of you, almost sleeping with Aphrodite. It's something not many can brag about, or, well, maybe a lot of people can brag about that, but still, proud of you, Apollo. Okay. It was I. Ares, the one that cock-blocked you. If I can have fun with you too, nobody can. I was the one that told Hestia and Artemis where you were. I hope this teaches you a lesson. You either clap with me, or you don't clap, Ares. So that's how they came into my rescue, Ares told them. Adam Aragon, I have sent this letter with the intention to thank you once again for recovering my master bolt. In other unrelated matters, I wanted to ask, why did you look so disgusted at the fact of me trying to sleep with you? Not that I want to, but, well, have I gotten ugly for today's standards? I just can't understand why you took such offense to what my wife insinuated that time. I expect an answer, Zeus. What in the actual fuck? Apollo point of view. I was proud of my little brother. No, proud didn't even begin to express what I felt for him right now. He almost clapped them godly cheeks. The kid sure is something, Hermes chuckled. I find this bad/good luck impressive, he added. He does have a weird streak of luck, I chuckled. I honestly expected him to be dead by this point, Hermes admitted, but he apparently likes to prove us gods wrong. He is my brother, I stated proudly. As if that was a compliment, Hermes mocked. You're just mad you don't share the awesomeness we the children of Leto have, I smirked. Don't need it, I'm plenty awesome on my own, Hermes chuckled. Crack addict, priest of the new church of Adamus. I had seen the light that day, the one true God has descended, and had kicked me into the right path, into the light, literally. His way was hard, but fair. He will kick our sins away, breaking our bones and building us anew. I proclaimed, as the few believers I had managed to gather to adore our true Savior bowed. Soon everyone would know of the word of our true Lord. It was my duty as his first priest. Chapter 39. I was a genius. All right, maybe I'm overselling my status, but fuck it. I was happy today, happier than I was yesterday. 2 weeks after Hestia and Artemis cockblocked my sweet destiny, I had completed the mnemonic chapter of my Grimoire. How did I know that? Well, the book was now letting me change motherfuckering chapters. I had now access to 2 chapters within the book, the one I had completed and the demonic arts and curses one. So many spells, I was giggling like a teenager with a crush, so many pranking possibilities. My giggling by this point had turned to an evil maniacal laughter. I skimmed through the book, catching quick but very insightful glimpses of the hundreds of new spells I had acquired access to and would have to practice soon enough, when suddenly I violently stopped on one page, because one particular spell had caught my attention. The All-Seeing Eye. A spell created to spy and see everything everywhere without being seen. It has no real cost, except for a large amount of mana. Incantation: I summon the All-Seeing Eye to tear a hole into the sky, reveal to me that which is hidden, unveil to me what is forbidden. This confirmed it. My book has access to magical knowledge of other universes. Mwahahaha. I laughed, evil burning within me with glee, as I got ready to try my new spell. I summon the All-Seeing Eye to tear a hole into the sky, reveal to me that which is hidden, unveil to me what is forbidden. The target of my spell, Annabeth and Percy. Immediately after those words left my mouth, a magical window, that was as I would expect to as oval-shaped, appeared, showing me what Percy and Annabeth were doing. Annabeth was sitting on her bed, with Percy on the opposite side. She had a scheming look on her face, with a smile, a desperate one. She said, I think I know how to beat him. Oh, she's talking about me. I unknowingly smiled at that. You sure? I just got the song out of my system. Percy shuddered. Yes, the thing is, we have to enact our revenge slowly. Our mistake was to rush at him. Only if we play our cards slowly, he will not see it coming, Annabeth declared with confidence. You in? A slow plan? Please slow, Beth. I'm leagues above you. I thought we agreed on surrendering to his might, Percy sighed, somewhat exhausted. Never. Annabeth shook her head, and I took this as a cue to curse them to hear my awesome song. No. Percy screamed, running out of the room. How did he? No. And just like that I had broken the daughter of Athena, once again. I think it's the 5th time this weekend. Unknown point of view. My son had grown to be vastly different to what I had expected or foreseen, but I wasn't disappointed. On the contrary, I was intrigued. Well, I suppose that's not entirely true, because in reality I was a bit disappointed in him. He had yet to discover his true power as my son, but that wasn't something of importance for now. Sooner or later he would, and I would be the first one to know. I knew that woman would produce an interesting child. I laughed. Adam point of view. The All-Seeing Eye was awesome but very taxing mana-wise. Using it a few times was more than enough to drain me, and I had a lot of mana. So, I decided to leave that spell for really special occasions, or very good pranks. As for the other spells of the book, well, their difficulty and costs varied a lot. Some had no cost. Others would literally charge you, well, your life, like for example the Endura curse. The second chapter of the book was so complex I had no idea if I would be able to move from it, especially with spells that literally ask for your life to be casted. I suppose I will have to find a way to solve that later, but for now, I would enjoy a day off, Maybe I can go to the underworld and cash the coupon Hades gave me for a full-day spa. Hestia, if you can hear me, I'm going to the underworld. I need a good massage. Make sure nobody burns the house. I called out just for Hestia to appear in front of me, with a burst of flames. That was fast, I chuckled. I'm going with you. Hestia stated with a smile that said I will not accept a no for an answer. I haven't seen my little brother in a while, and a spa day sounds awesome. Sure, I chuckled. Hades' point of view. Adam had come to another spa day with Persephone and me, with Hestia accompanying him, and I was elated to have her with us. Hestia, I greeted with a smile I couldn't contain. Having Hestia to visit is always a reason to be happy, especially if she brings cookies. Hades, Hestia smiled, hugging me. Hey, Hades, Adam greeted. Hi, I waved at him, Hestia still hugging me. Persephone wants to show you some apartments, I chuckled. Poor Adam. Now that Persephone wanted him to move here, nothing would stop her, and he would be forced to see apartments until she was sure he was going to buy. Awesome. Adam said, somewhat unsure, as if knowing the hellish nightmare that awaited him. Now, let's have a nice day off, I chuckled as I walked towards the spa, with Hestia and Adam following me close behind. I won't go back home today, am I? Adam asked. No. I laughed. Percy point of view. This is the last time I defy Adam, his pranking powers are beyond comprehension. Even talking about defiance is met with swift retribution. Annabeth was from this point on alone. I was not going to fight Adam in a realm he has no competition, no equal. Chapter 40. The room was dark and a bit damp, a result of my practice in the dark arts. I had no idea why, but apparently practicing the dark arts in my book seemed to change the environment of where I practiced. The dark arts in my book were dangerous. Although they brought a lot of benefits, they also brought a lot of consequences when using them. But it wasn't all bad. Certain spells had no over-the-top prices, they were simple curses, so to speak. But if I had to be honest, I didn't know how I was going to complete this chapter. The last chapter had no real high requirements besides memorization, but this one had a lot of highs and lows to it, which would make it very difficult to complete. But if I had learned anything, it was that no matter how difficult the chapter seemed, the book had a conscience of its own. It had saved me once when the sirens almost killed me, which indicated that maybe it wasn't me deciding when to move on, but the book deciding when I was ready to do so. The curses and spells in the book varied in power and strength. Some were simply designed to trick the enemy with small illusions, mirages, and the likes. Others were made to give minor afflictions to my targets, like diseases that work on magical creatures. Up to this point, none of them cost anything really expensive, most of them were mana-oriented. But once you crossed that line, things would go down. The real heavy weapons, or the big boys as I called them, were curses so powerful that if I went by the description alone, they could even harm the likes of the gods. These curses were very expensive though. Some of them would corrupt you, like the first spell I used from this chapter. And although I didn't know exactly what they meant by corruption, since this term varied too much depending on the person it was corrupting, I didn't want to find out. The point is that some of them charged you too much, like what's the point of winning if you die? With this in mind, I decided to practice the low-cost spells of this chapter for the moment being. Later on, I would see how to master the rest of the chapter without dying. Adam. Hestia greeted, coming into existence in my room with her usual smile, one that could light up the whole world even is the worst day. Still practicing? She asked, her lips forming a pout. Yes, I replied with a soft sigh. I forgot we were going to see a Disney marathon today. Then close that book, Hestia declared. I want to start with The Lion King, she added, dragging me out of my room. Okay. Hestia was not a person you could say no to. She was the definition of adorable. Hestia continued to drag me along until we reached the living room of my cabin, where she threw me against the couch like a stuffed animal. "I'll go cook the snacks, do you want anything specific?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. "Totally adorable, whatever you want, after all, everything you cook is delicious," I replied. Hestia blushed, and with a smile trotted off to the kitchen. "I'll cook something to die for," she declared with pure excitement, and I wholly believed her. "Don't you want to know where you come from?" a voice whispered in my ear, hoarse but yet deep. Instinctively I looked around trying to find the intruder, but found nothing. Was I imagining things? "Go to Boston, if you want answers, boy," the voice said, and as soon as the unknown entity said that, I felt that something had left my cabin. "What was that?" Hestia questioned, her gaze distant. "I have no idea," I said, not at all surprised that she as a goddess had realized what happened. "We'll discuss it after the movies." Hestia sighed. Whatever it wasn't Greek. Unknown point of view. I did as I was told. "The child now knows there is a mystery he has to unveil," I informed the council. "Good, let's hope he takes the bait. It would be best to have him in our side, before his father corrupts him." "Don't you want to know where you come from?" What did that mean? I knew I was a reincarnated being. Did the voice knew that? If so, what would I find in Boston? I wasn't sure what to do. If I went to Boston, I might get caught in a trap, but if I didn't, curiosity would eat me up. "I think you should go to Boston and see who contacted you," Hestia said, noting that she wasn't paying attention to the movies. "No one would dare kill you just because. If they did, they'd be looking for trouble with the Greek pantheon. And besides, whatever came into your cabin wasn't Greek, but it was welcomed by you. The hearth only allows those of Greek blood, and those your heart welcomes," meaning whoever it was family or someone you know. "Someone I know. My father?" "Perhaps it's your father," Hestia smiled, as if reading my mind. "It would not be the first time two pantheons birth a child together. But it would be the first time Zeus allows the child to live long enough to know what he is, even if he is doing so unknowingly. So be careful." Of course, Zeus was once again the thorn to my side. "I will," I nodded with a smile, "but first let's see our movies." I winked at her. Now that I know what to do, I want to enjoy what it could be my last day of chilling. Hestia snorted. "That sounds about right," and with that, we started to watch the movie marathon once again. My mind this time at ease, for now, I had the answer I was looking for. I would go to Boston and see who was the one that contacted me. This marks the end of part 8 of the story Percy Jackson, the God of Magic. Thank you for listening. Please like the video and hit the subscribe button to listen more. Hit the bell icon to get notified of all the new content uploaded to the channel ASAP.